from the farm. Our ag reporter Stu Ellis is joining us now in studio. Stu, I have a quick question. What can you do with a red flag, a board with holes, a bucket, and a funny-looking metal rod? That's a lot.
Well, it is. Some people have a penchant for some of those things, and you're going to meet one here momentarily. With all those items, you're going to find Howard Brown not far away. He retired from Illini IFS. A lot of folks know Howard, but he's still out in farm fields, and I found him out in there one day.
Howard Brown of Visionary Agronomics is taking advantage of a delightful day, but you've got a funny looking board on the ground and a couple of red flags, a green bucket, and a fancy soil probe. What are you doing here?
Well, what we're doing, Stu, and I've been doing this for over 12 years now, and I'm tracking nutrients in the profile. And when I say I'm tracking nutrients, I'm pulling soil samples in this great land that we have 2 feet deep in 1 foot increments, and I'm determining what the concentration of nitrogen for plants, plant available nitrogen is. And I've learned over those 12 years I shouldn't stop there, so I'm going after sulfur, zinc, boron, manganese. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling the sample at this one point, and I'm going to come back in a month or two, and then I'm going to move the template and pull another sample. Then I'm going to come back in a month or two, pull the template, or move the template and pull another sample, and then relate those numbers. So I'm learning the dynamics. I call it the behavior of nutrients in the profile. Not only nitrogen, but all those other things we're spending money on.
And what does this tell you? It tells you a lot of information, and then you correlate it with a trend or something?
Oh, I wish I could say I correlate everything. No, I look at the numbers, and the numbers tell a story. We have the background, we check pre-plant, the farmer puts on his nitrogen, then I come back at V5 and I see what's there, and most times, just about every time, I can tell he put nitrogen on and I can estimate how much he applied based off that sample. And then at that, when I get the plant samples back at V5, I can determine, well, is the boron short in the tissue? If it is, maybe we can put on some boron. Is sulfur short? Maybe we can put on some sulfur. And then at VT, when the plant is fully grown and sending everything into the grain or getting ready to, then I can say, okay, the tissue is short, the soil is short. Stu, we need to put on some extra fertilizer next year because right now it's too late for this year. And getting the farmers to learn to take soil tests and determine that real time basically, and not trying to represent an area. All we do when we go with a composite sample is we're just compositing errors because the soil is different everywhere. And so what I'm trying to do is to minimize the differential in space by having the sample pulled from one spot. And so on this whole field, I got one sample. But I tell you, it's like a storybook when I can read that book.
And I'll be out with Howard when he pulls the samples at V5 and at Tassel. And I can't wait to hear his moral of the story. I like telling stories too.
Well, you do a good job at it. Thank you, Stu.
We'll
see you on Thursday. Well, you can watch this segment and all others on our website at WCIA.com.